Part 1 link is in the comments section, so let's get started with Part 2. Jin comes out of the dungeon carrying Soyun. Guild leader asked if Jin is alright, but Jin says he has something to tell him, so they arrives at the guild office, and Jin tells guild leader that Joe Hakri was a murderer. And Jin also gives the camera of a supporter. So in order to hide his skills, he told the guild master that it was a case of mutation, where the lizard man got the skill of their raid mate and attacked Joe Hakri. Jin then takes his leave. Jin then reaches his house and opens his status window to see what he was not able to in the dungeon. There he found an arrow on the connection gacha, which represented that after using the connection gacha, he will get a guaranteed skill. And he notices other functions too, where he can summon the warriors he have unlocked or met before, but it cost mana that he couldn't afford. So he thinks the immediate thing would be to increase his mana capacity. In order to raise his stats, he need to either level up or try his luck with connection gacha. So he will try the free turn for connection gacha tomorrow, and tries information gacha first. But he had such a terrible luck. He woke up at the earliest the next day, and goes to an isolated place to try the connection gacha. He gets Liu Shan, the person who ruined the Han dynasty that Liu Bei built up in the Age of Three Kingdoms, the icon of incompetence, and Liu Shan appears in the form of a child. Liu Shan then says that Jin must be disappointed by his abilities, but one's worth is not determined by strength, and says to look carefully in his stats. Jin found that he has good luck of level 2, but thinks what will be the use of this skill in a dungeon. But then Jin asks if he can get good luck in gambling or something. Liu Shan agrees, and then Jin tries the information gacha, and on the very first try he gets a golden capsule. Jin then realizes the worth of Liu Shan and says that he would like to see him often. In the golden capsule, he found that a new dungeon will appear in 3 months and there he can get a skill stone. Jin asks why is he giving him so much goodwill as he forced him out, but Liu Shan replies that it's not the case. He is thankful for being called, and proceeds to explain that the warriors he summoned are not the real people but their personalities recorded in the real universe, and Jin is astonished by his skill of level 3 communication. Liu Shan also says that Jin is their creator, and leaves as his time was up. The next day, guild leader informs that the guild is now disbanded as they don't have much combat squad members to clear the dungeon. Guild leader then asks Jin if he will continue being a user. Jin replies with a yes, and guild leader gives him an admission letter for South Korean Users Association Academy, and tells that Soyun will also be admitted there if she continues being a user. Guild leader also tells Jin that he needs to be careful as they found another mana watch from Joe Hakri belongings, which concluded that he was also a member of the Karma Guild. Karma Guild is the largest multinational guild, which also has the greatest number of guild members. The guild members are so loyal to the leader that they don't even hesitate to become villains for the sake of the leader. That's why Jin needs to be careful. Guild leader thanks Jin for being the member of this guild, and Jin also thanks him, and they bids farewell. The next day, we see that Jin has again summoned Liu Shan, and he opened many info gachas, but they were all failure. Liu Shan explains that there's no guarantee that he will win big every time, as luck would have solved everything if that was the case. The very next day, Jin uses the connection gacha skill so that he can increase his stats, and gets a golden card that summoned Bradamante, one of the 12 Knights of Charlemagne. Then Jin reaches the academy. There he finds Soyun and proceeds to enter with her. Everyone wants to learn better, so they get admitted in the academy to learn from the top guilds, and those who are not any members of any guild learns from the academy itself. But many hunters avoid the academy because of the admission test that is held there. Then begins the admission test. One of the instructor explains that they have to punch the sandbag and get a score over 30 to pass this test. Then the instructor calls the first hunter. He is very confident that he will pass, but he gets a score of 27 and fails. That hunter is looking strong and he says that the machine must be broken. But the instructor punches the machine and gets a score of 88. This implies that the machine was not broken. And then the instructor calls several applicants. Most of them fails. But it's the turn of Soyun next, so she comes and kicks the machine, and she gets a score of 67. The instructor is also surprised by her stats and thinks that the top guilds should be fighting each other in order to recruit her. Next is the turn of our protagonist Jin Jiangdo. Jin is scared that with his stats, he might fail but proceeds to punch the machine, but thinks that he will be fine, as he have an item which boosts his stats by 10. But suddenly he gets a notification that his talent game is activated, so all stats will be increased by 100% while gaming, and kicks the machine. He completely destroys the machine and gets a score of 91. Everybody present there, including the instructor, is shocked out of their wits, as there's only a 6-point difference between his and the academy's best score, and Soyun thinks that she was right. He is hiding something. Then we see a scene of 1 month later. Several people are asking about the Saintess, but the guild leader is not saying anything. Then one person sees some academy papers and concludes that she is admitted to the academy, and he orders to send scouts to the academy. Education in the academy lasts for a month. Their practical and theory is divided in weeks, and on the last day of the academy, a test to determine your graduation takes place. Both Soyun and Jin are somewhat famous in the academy, as Soyun gets many guild invitations and Jin gets sparring invitations, but they both denies. But in the case of Jin, they are to play in a virtual space where it's game-like, and as we all know, Jin's stats are boosted by his game talent skill, so he avoids it as much as he can. So Soyun agrees with the guy who wanted to spar with Jin. Then Jin also joins them as a spectator. But Soyun is overpowering that guy, and the instructor passes by, seeing that he thinks that they must be preparing for tomorrow's graduation test, and thinks that he have high expectations for Jin after seeing his capabilities on the admission day. Because there was a similar monster who surpassed 90 points, getting 96, which was the highest of the academy. Shortly after graduating, he became the 9th SS ranked user. It's the day for the test. They have to clear a dungeon of rank E, and in B rank instructor will also accompany them. First, the turn is of Group 1. They enters and clears the dungeon safely, in which Soyun was present. Next is the turn for Group 2, which includes Jin and Hishik, the guy they were sparring with. Jin leads the group when they enters. They all are getting points according to their actions by the instructor. But the instructor thinks Jin is very capable, but his talents are not able to support him. If he had higher stats, he might have become an S-rank user. And suddenly an orc is spotted by Jin. The orc starts his attack. Hishik blocks his attack by using his shield. But that orc is powerful than it looks, so Jin calls for one more shielder, and then proceeds to kill the orc by using his spear. So they proceeds on killing the orcs, one by one. The whole group almost kills all the orcs. The instructor is also relieved that they can handle it easily. But at the same time outside, there's a problem. The instructor outside is angry on the dungeon trade officer, asking him which seeker did he get the dungeon from, as he sees the information about the dungeon. The officer says that he met the seeker with a guild's recommendation. Instructor asks which guild. He replies the Karma Guild. Instructor apologized to the other students that they are scammed by the seeker, which hid the true difficulty of the dungeon. The group 2 might be in great danger, as this is a dungeon that they can't handle. And on the other side, Jin in group 2 reaches the boss room. The instructor inside alarms everyone after seeing the boss that this is an emergency situation. This was not everyone expected. It was a ranked dungeon. Everyone is scared, but starts their attacks on the boss. The instructor rank was lower than the boss, but he steps in to fight the boss and confiscates his movements. And he then orders the students to attack as many effective blows as possible. But the students are scared and are not able to attack the boss. And in the corner of the room, Jin is thinking that he cannot hide his abilities in this situation, and summons Liu Shan and proceeds to use Connection Gacha skill, believing in the good luck level 2 of Liu Shan, and gets a diamond card and gets Siegfried, the great hero of the German legend, who have a level of 99. Jin then attacks the boss with a sword thrust. Everyone, including the instructor, are shocked seeing Jin attacking it. But the boss is unharmed so far. Jin uses his observation skill on the boss and found that he is level 82 and S rank. The boss then attacks Jin, but Jin then dodges it, as he have greater abilities than the boss. They exchanges several blows. But then Jin attacks him with the most powerful skill in his arsenal. The boss falls on the ground. Everybody thanked Jin, but suddenly the boss again wakes up and attacks Jin. But Hishik pushes Jin away, and getting in the range of the attack. Hishik is critically injured. Jin gets angry and attacks the boss, but unfortunately, his blow couldn't connect. It was blocked by a special skill of the boss, which he learned from mutation in his dying moment. Boss then uses his war cry skill, and nobody can move excluding Jin. Boss then attacks Jin, but Jin dodges his attack. Boss is now powerful than earlier. Siegfried explains how he is stronger now. It's because of its dragon blood, and the skill he used is Dragon Blood Awaken. It's an ability that Siegfried gained after defeating the evil dragon and drinking his blood. It's a technique that would render all attacks temporarily useless and heal all the user's injuries if the user goes into a near-death state. Boss lands a blow on Jin, and also the amount of time that Siegfried can spend in this world is also up. And suddenly Jin can feel the weakness in his body. Jin thinks that he has finally started to become the mana user that he wants to become, so he will not die now. He swings the sword with his unshakable will. And suddenly a message appears saying that King of All Arms has succeeded in recreating the ancient weapon perfectly, and he can use all the abilities of it. The Dragon Killer Sword, Bamong. And when facing Dragon Blood, the user's stats will increase by 1000%. He attacks the boss, and with his increased stats, he wins with a single blow. His level is increased, and on top of that he managed to load the highest possible target successfully, so a part of the target's abilities have remained in the user's body. With increase in his stats, he learns the skill Dragon Blood Awakening. He is relieved now, as it is finally over. He says to pack things up, but everyone is scared if he will kill them for knowing his truth of high rank. But he assures them that he is just a low-level guy, but his skills are unique, and he will keep them as a secret. There are much more interesting things left, so if you want the next part, comment part 3. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. Thanks for watching.